How do we know it was time to leave? And there is really not a good answer to that. And in 1938, a lot of German Jews, highly educated German Jews, came to Holland. Okay, and my father was active, I guess, in the organizations that placed these people so they had a place to live. And he always felt that he didn't have a higher education, and he saw all these people coming in with no belongings except for the clothes that they had. And I think it really disturbed him. He made plans in 38, probably a little earlier he started, but certainly in 38, to leave the country because he knew if the Germans were going to start invading, that there was no way that Holland would be safe. 1939, things got worse. Poland was invaded, and he decided at the end of 1939 that he had to leave Holland, and he took your great-grandmother and my brother, Uncle Jack, and we left. But we didn't. Your great-grandmother didn't want to go across the Channel to England because there was a lot of ship sinkings going on in the Channel. So we knew that there was still a steamship line, an Italian-American steamship line, that was still sailing in 1940 on a supposedly regular schedule to the United States. So we left Holland in 1940, and remember, Holland was invaded in May of 1940. We left Holland in 1940 in January, and we went to France, and their great-grandfather again thought that France would be destroyed in the war, and he wanted to show us Paris, which he did. And then we went to Italy. The only thing that was bad about this whole thing was the fact that I had, 7 or 8 cousins about my age. And, I had uncles and aunts and second cousins. We had a big family at home. And as it turned out, and my grandfather was still alive, and my grandfather on my mother's side was still alive, your great-great-grandfather. And my grandmother on my father's side was still alive, your great-great-grandmother, and he wanted to take them all to the United States, and they wouldn't come. They said, "You go first, and we'll follow." Well, obviously that never happened, and none of them, the whole family, all the cousins, all the aunts, all the uncles, the grandparents, they all died in the war. They were all killed in concentration camps. Your great-grandfather had warehouses in central Rotterdam. I remember that behind one of the storage racks in that warehouse, they had built a complete apartment. A bedroom, a kitchen, a bathroom. And we used to play there. Maybe, and I don't know if there's any truth to this at all, but maybe my father had already planned that if it ever came to that we could hide out in the warehouse. Now, as it turned out, that would have been a very bad idea. That whole part of Rotterdam, and I have pictures again of that whole part of Rotterdam in May of 1940, just after we left, was completely destroyed by the Germans. They bombed it so there was absolutely nothing left. Pretty terrible because, they keep talking about 6 million Jews. Most of those, I would say over 50% of those, were annihilated in the last year and a half of the war. That's kind of shocking when you read about that. So remember that the Jewish population in Germany was very well integrated. They lived in peace there, and they were part of the society for over 300 years. Okay, and he managed within a year or two, Hitler, to separate the Jewish community from the rest of from Germany. He started passing laws that they couldn't work, and they couldn't earn money, and they couldn't be on trolleys, and they couldn't go to the movies, and they couldn't go to public parks. I think about that a little bit. If something like that might happen here, that's actually what happened. Finally, it became so extreme that just getting rid of the Jews in Germany wasn't good enough. He wanted to annihilate them.